Hey everybody, Senior Sedge here again, and today we're talking about story listening. Story listening was developed by Dr. Benico Mason as a means of teaching foreign language, and it's just a great little thing you can do in your classroom. You're going to develop a story that you want to tell. You can do a famous fable or create your own story. You do want to make sure it's drawing friendly because you're going to be drawing it. Then you tell the story to your class while you draw. You can interact with them as far as doing comprehension checks, but you're not co-creating a story. So you're not asking like, where does he go now and what does the character want here? You're just interacting with your learners as you tell the story. I love story listening as a break from story asking because it doesn't require my learners to have to create with me. I've already created the story, now I just work through it. And once you have the story created, you have the artwork saved, there's lots of different follow-up activities you can do as well. So here I'm going to show you now the text that I work through for the story listening that you'll see in the video. So here is the base text that I created for the story listening assignment. I wrote it specifically for my learners using their names and interests. But with story listening, you definitely don't have to. Sometimes it's better to use just a generic story if you're teaching several sections, and that way you don't have to cater things differently. And then what you create then at the end, whether you turn it into a YouTube video or a reading or something, doesn't have to be specific to a certain class. And also notice then during the story listening session, when you watch the video, notice how I vary quite a bit from the text, especially expounding upon the dialogue. That's one really nice part about story listening is that you don't have to stick with what you wrote. As long as you don't go too far off the rails, you can definitely expound upon dialogue and give your characters more emotion and more drama that's within the story, which is nice.
I'm going to tell you guys a story. Will you hit the lights, Aubrey? Tell me what you do when you don't understand the story. Fantastico, show me again. Hay una mujer. La mujer se llama Donna. Donna es una mujer inteligente y bonita. ¿Y qué más? Oh, y vive en Chillicothe. Yo vivo en Chillicothe.
Right there, I was just a little worried that that Bibe wouldn't have enough repetition, so I just emphasized there. Yeah, I live in Chillicothe, even though it's not in the story. I just wanted to get a little extra rep there and make sure I'm checking and just adding for comprehension.
Me gusta. Dana, bonita, inteligente, vive en Chillicothe y tiene una hija. ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se dice en inglés hija? Daughter, yeah. ¿Qué dice el vaquero a su hija? Hija. Clase, ¿cómo se llama la hija de Donna? Teresa. Donna tiene algo muy interesante. Donna tiene...
Catch how I'll use a lot of TPR through story listening. I know it's annoying because you have pencils to draw with or markers or whatever, and you have a paper that you're reading from, but use a lot of motions there. Because you're not doing story asking, you're not circling things the way you normally would. TPR while story listening is really powerful.
Muchas.
Creepy dolls.
Muchas muñecas. Yeah. Dana tiene muchas muñecas. A Dana le gustan mucho muñecas. Yeah, me gustan las muñecas. Pero a su hija, no. No. A Carissa no le gusta las muñecas. Nada, no. Definitivamente que no. A Carissa no le gusta las muñecas. ¿Ah? Un día, Dana va a su hija, va a Carissa y le dice, Carissa, yo quiero algo. Yo quiero. No puedo. No. Carissa, a Dana le dice, Carissa, yo quiero algo. No quiero más muñecas. No quiero pizza. Yo quiero tener un gato. No quiero tener un gato. Morado. ¿Cómo se dice en inglés morado? Purple. Yeah. Dana quiere tener un gato morado. ¿Comprende?
Sí.
Lo siento mucho. Carissa escucha a su mamá y está sorprendida. ¿Qué? ¿Mamá? ¿Tú quieres tener un gato morado? Es interesante porque Carissa tiene un gato amarillo grande. Carissa le dice, mamá, yo tengo un gato amarillo y grande. ¿Quieres mi gato amarillo y grande? Pero Dana mira el gato amarillo y dice, no, qué asco, ew, no quiero un gato amarillo y grande. Amarillo. ¿Cómo se dice amarillo en inglés?
Yellow.
Ajá. No quiero un gato amarillo y grande, ridículo. A mí me gustan los gatos morados. Los gatos morados son muy especiales. Entonces, Dana va a PetSmart. ¿PetSmart tiene gatos, ¿verdad?
A veces.
A veces sí, a veces. Entonces, Dana va a PetSmart. Y entra a PetSmart. Y hay muchos gatos en PetSmart, Liz. Hay muchos gatos en PetSmart. Y Dana mira los gatos. Mira gatos grandes, mira gatos pequeños, mira gatos contentos, mira gatos tristes, mira gatos tristes. Un gato triste.
Triste y morado.
No. Mira muchos gatos. Mira gatos tristes, mira gatos felices, contentos, mira gatos enojados. Mira gatos enojados. Pero hay un problema. No mira gatos morados. Dana quiere tener un gato morado. A Dana le gustan los gatos morados y no hay gatos morados en PetSmart. Dana está enojada. Yo quiero gatos morados y no hay gatos morados en PetSmart. Y Dana pega, ¡pum! Los gatos. Violentamente pega a los gatos y está súper
Más
enojada.
triste.
Este gato está más triste y este gato está más enojado. Hay un gran problema. Pero Dana tiene una amiga muy inteligente.
Buy another dog.
Su amiga es Terry. Terry es súper inteligente. Dana agarra su celular.
Oh, yeah.
Small bit there. Dana agarra su celular
Como Zach Morris.
y llama. ¿Cómo se dice llama?
Calls.
Yeah, llama Terry. Terry escucha su celular. Y agarra su celular y le dice, bueno, soy Terry. Dana le dice, Terry, yo quiero un gato morado. Mi hija Carissa no tiene un gato morado, tiene un gato amarillo y no me gustan los gatos amarillos. Yo fui a PetSmart. PetSmart tiene muchos gatos, pero no tiene un gato morado. Terry es muy inteligente. Súper inteligente. Ding. Terry le dice, oh, ok. Hay un gato morado en la Casa Blanca.
We'll stop it there just to keep the video a little bit shorter. But yeah, you can just get the gist of it. I'm just telling the story, interacting. If you feel like a learner is kind of disconnecting to the story because it's not a typical story creation, go ahead and engage that learner with whatever you're talking about. Oh, the character wants a purple cat, but what color cat do you want? And find ways to engage your learners if they're starting to disconnect a little bit from the story. I'll show you here what I do after I'm done with the story. As far as resources go, there's also lots of things you can do afterwards for follow-up activities. The one I love to do is Tina Hargaden's question and answer game, where you pair up learners, you ask questions to them, and they have rubrics to score each other, and they want to try to score higher and higher. And I'll link to that in the page. But yeah, enjoy. Story listening is fantastic. So then after the story listening session is over, I'm going to take my drawings from the smartboard and save it as a PDF. These drawings can be invaluable for absent students and also for future activities that you want to use. So saved it there as a PDF. What I did then afterwards was using Screencastify. I created just a video where I read the story and show the drawings for any students that are absent, or just again as a future resource that you could give your learners for extra input. And so there's that.